Every February 14th, the world turns a very specific shade of rose red. We exchange millions of cards, tons of chocolate, and enough jewelry to sink a small ship. We're told it's the day of St. Valentine, a martyr of love. But if you actually look into the history of Valentine's Day, you won't find many teddy bears. Instead, you'll find Roman fertility cults, ancient matchmaking lotteries, a priest who lost his head, and a very lonely duke trapped in the Tower of London. Today, we're deconstructing the bloody, weird, and surprisingly commercial evolution of Valentine's Day. To understand Valentine's Day, we have to go back to ancient Rome, specifically to a festival called Lupercalia. Held from February 13th to 15th, it was anything but romantic by modern standards. Lupercalia was a pastoral festival intended to purify the city and promote health and fertility. Roman priests, known as Luperci, would sacrifice goats and a dog. They would then cut thongs from the goat hides, called februa, which is where we get the word February, and run around the city, gently slapping women with them. It was believed this would grant fertility and ease the pains of childbirth for the coming year. There was also a matchmaking component that sounds like an ancient version of a dating app. Legend says young men would draw the names of young women from a jar to be coupled for the duration of the festival. Often, these pairings would last until the following year's festival, and many resulted in actual marriages. It was chaos, and when Christianity began to rise in the Roman Empire, the church decided this wild holiday needed a serious makeover. In the 5th century, Pope Gelasius I officially declared February 14th as St. Valentine's Day, largely to Christianize the festivities and replace Lupercalia with a more wholesome martyr. But there's a catch. Nobody was entirely sure which Valentine they were honoring. There are at least 3 different St. Valentines recognized by the Catholic Church, all of whom were martyred. The most famous legend tells of a priest in 3rd century Rome. Emperor Claudius II decided that single men made better soldiers than those with wives and families, so he banned marriage for young men. Valentine, realizing the injustice, supposedly performed secret marriages in defiance. When he was caught, he was sentenced to death. Legend adds a final romantic twist. While in jail, he fell for the jailer's daughter, and, before his execution on February 14th, sent her a note signed, "From your Valentine." While historians doubt the romantic details, the story gave the church the perfect hero to replace the pagan rituals of Lupercalia. For centuries after the Pope's decree, the day remained a somber religious feast. It didn't become romantic in the way we recognize until the Middle Ages. We can actually thank the poet Geoffrey Chaucer for a lot of this. In 1382, he wrote Parliament of Fowls, where he linked the feast of St. Valentine to the mating season of birds. Suddenly, European nobility began writing valentines to their love interests, turning the day into a celebration of courtly love. This era gave birth to the idea of an idealized, noble, and often secret passion. The oldest known physical valentine, still in existence today, was written in 1415 by Charles, Duke of Orleans. He wrote a poem to his wife while he was imprisoned in the Tower of London after the Battle of Agincourt. In his letter, he called her his very gentle Valentine. By the time of William Shakespeare, the holiday was a cultural staple, mentioned in plays like Hamlet as a day for lovers to exchange vows. By the 18th and 19th centuries, the Industrial Revolution changed everything. Printing technology made it possible to mass-produce mechanical valentines, which were pre-printed cards that saved people the trouble of writing their own poetry. In the mid-1800s, an American woman named Esther Howland, often called the mother of the American Valentine, started selling the first mass-produced cards in the U.S., featuring intricate lace and colorful paper. Then came the commercial giants. Richard Cadbury created the first fancy box of chocolates in 1861, realizing that the way to the heart was through the stomach. By 1913, Hallmark cards in Kansas City began mass-producing Valentines, and the holiday shifted from a handwritten, poetic gesture to a billion-dollar commercial powerhouse. Today, billions are spent annually on flowers, jewelry, and dining out, making it one of the most profitable days of the year for the retail industry. So, is Valentine's Day just a Hallmark holiday? It's easy to be cynical, but history shows us that humans have always looked for a reason to celebrate connection, whether through ancient Roman rituals, secret medieval poems, or modern-day text messages. It has evolved from a bloody ritual to a religious feast, to a literary trend, and finally to the global event it is today.